Hello everyone, and welcome to batch 248 in the freeze dryer, and it's another pork roast with sauerkraut. I didn't plan on doing another pork roast so soon after the last one, and I usually don't do pork in, this is September, right? Yeah, September. But I was driving past the store, and it's a Save-A-Lot in Perryopolis, Pennsylvania. And I was driving by, and sometimes they have specials that they don't have at other stores. And it said whole pork loin, 79 cents a pound. So I stopped in. I bought 2 of those. They were huge, $13 each, but they were huge. And each one had 2 wrapped inside of it, already cut. So I cooked 1, froze 3. I have to get those cooked though, because we are having a batch of dog food delivered soon, and that's going to use up all the space we have in the freezer. So I made the roast. We only ate it one day because my intention was to freeze dry it, and we were eating steaks because they also had T-bones with huge fillets for $5.99 a pound, and they were amazing. So I had the roast and sauerkraut, and this is what is left from after we ate one day. And I'm going to say it was probably, I don't know, what, at $13 a roast, 79 cents a pound, that's probably 16 or 17, 18 pounds. I don't know. And then I cook half, so maybe a 9-pound roast. Let's see, I don't know. And then we ate something. So, and then of course I have to take the fat out when I freeze dry it. I don't generally do that when we eat it, or if we were canning it, I wouldn't. But when you freeze dry it, you got to take the fat out. So the first tray is just one entire tray of 1.5 pounds of pulled pork, and then on the second one, that's 1 pound of pork and 1 pound of kraut, and that just comes up like that. And you remember in the last load of, I think it was cabbage rolls, I showed you where there was a little bit of grease there. So I've got the same thing here. So this is one of, fat does not freeze dry, guys. So you don't like that shiny. What I did do to try to avoid that is I rinsed everything. After the meat was clean, I rinsed it with some hot water to try to get off all the fat. I still obviously left some on there. So I will have to check and see, maybe I'll check this in 6 months to a year, which I always say I'm going to do, and I actually don't do it. I need to make a list of, okay, it's time to check this in the freeze dryer. But that's the meat. And then this one had, like I said, 1 pound, and this one had 2 pounds of kraut, because I just used the whole gallon size jar of sauerkraut in with that roast. And I'm going to put this in Mylar. It's going to go in these half-gallon bags. I may put some in this big gallon bag. If I do, it's just going to be this one that's already mixed with the pork and sauerkraut. This one I may divide. It was 1.5 pounds. I may divide it and put, 1 pound in one with 1 pound of kraut, and 1/2 pound with 1/2 pound of kraut in the other. But then I'm going to have sauerkraut left over, so I'm just going to put it separate. And normally if I would do just a jar of sauerkraut, I would be able to call that vegetarian or even vegan, right? But I can't, because it was cooked with kraut. Cooked with pork. So this won't be getting the little V that my daughter will be looking for when SHTF happens. So let me show you my notes on this, and this just is how I wrote down everything that I told you was there on tray 1, 2, 3, and 4. Normally, it's 1 through 4, 1 through 4. Normally, my trays are always the same. And I didn't write down how much it cost, but I will be writing down 79 cents a pound for the pork. And I think the gallon of sauerkraut was $5 at Sam's Club, which brings me to another thing. I've been to 2 different Sam's Clubs this week, and neither one of them had the gallon-sized sauerkraut. So check your Sam's Club. they may stop offering it. It may not be available. I think I still have 2 or 3 in my food storage, but that's pretty upsetting to me if they're not going to have that gallon-sized kraut, because it's a great deal. We like sauerkraut. It's very healthy for your gut, and I like the empty glass jar for storing different things in, dog treats, kids treats, and just we use it for making pickled eggs and beets as well. So the freeze dryer ran for 66.5 hours. Of that, 8 hours and 20 minutes was added time. So it would have run for 58 hours and 10 minutes. But don't forget, I add approximately 17 hours at the beginning of the cycle. So this should have actually been done in right around 41, 42 hours was all it took. So since I probably won't get 20 pouches of food out of this, therefore always, I always want to do 20, because once I open this, I don't want to reseal it or anything like that. I don't have luck with that. I know a lot of people do, but I don't. And so it's also just making me more goal-oriented. You got to do 20 packs. So I bought some rice at Sam's Club this week. This isn't parboiled, not brown rice. It's just plain old white rice. I was going to get a 50-pound bag. I can't lift that. I could barely lift a 25-pound bag. And it was like $1 savings to buy the 50-pound bag, so I wasn't going to wrestle with that huge bag. And normally I would put rice in an 8-ounce or a 1-pound bag, but my oxygen absorbers are still not available in the case quantity. I use the Oxy-I oxygen absorbers in a 20 pack. I get 75 packs for a total of 1,500 oxygen absorbers from discountmylarbags.com, and normally it's around $140 and with free shipping, and they're not available. Last time I checked, he said they wouldn't be in for 6 weeks, and I do think it's probably been about 6 weeks, maybe 5. I checked today, they weren't available. I checked another site that just says they offer a discount for a case quantity, and I had to email them for that price. They haven't gotten back to me yet, but over at discountmylarbags.com, they do sell a single 20 pack, but 75 of these single 20 packs will cost me $300. Well, I'm not going to do that when, if I spend the money at one time, I save half. There is nowhere you can invest your money and double it in a year, and I'll use 1,500 of these in a year. I normally just go ahead and get a new case when they're half gone. Well, mine are half gone. So I have only about 700 of these left. So that's why my rice is in 2-pound bags, because that'll save me half the amount of oxygen absorbers that I would normally use. I will not repackage this. When I get more oxygen absorbers in, it's just going to stay like it is. It's actually a money saver to do this, because you get a larger bag for approximately the same price as a smaller bag. So it is better to go ahead and put it like this. And opening a 2-pound bag of rice doesn't mean any of that rice is going to go bad once you open it. So I'm fine there. It's not like I'm going to open a 2-pound bag of freeze-dried food and, oh me, what am I going to do? I have to reseal it or something like that, or put in another oxygen absorber. So that's it. That's what I'm prepping today. And over here is something else I prepped today. My husband is sick. Nick comes over and he has this little cold, and then my husband takes it and blows it all out of proportion. His immune system just eats it up. So I made him some chicken soup. It's already in the fridge. This is the bones left over from the chicken that I simmer until they're crushable, and then I make a really nice paste for the dogs, and they add that to their raw dog food. So that's it. That's all I'm doing today. This, and then my next batch in the freeze dryer is going to be something I've never done before. We've got that vegetarian, well, 2 of them. So she likes these Impossible Burgers, and she really likes these Beyond Burgers. They sell these at Walmart. They're $10 a pound. I was at Sam's Club, and they had them in a multi-pack, which they were $7.50 a pound. And so I ended up getting her, I'm going to cook 16 of these burgers and freeze dry them on 2 racks, and then I'm going to freeze dry 16 of them raw. So I'll have a whole load of freeze dried burgers. And then this is one thing that we're going to try immediately after we freeze dry it. I'm going to keep out a raw burger and a cooked burger. I'm going to reconstitute them. I'm going to cook the raw burger, and then she's going to eat those. Well, maybe not at one time, and then we're going to make sure that that worked out well. I would have liked to do that just a little bit at a time, but when I do things in the freeze dryer, I like to have one load of the entire same thing just to avoid cross tastes. A lot of people say that doesn't happen. It does happen with my taste bugs. Yeah, my taste bugs work like that. So, I went ahead and bit the bullet. It was a huge investment for me to buy 4 packs of these, but I did it anyway. I think they were actually on sale for $13, I think. No, for 2. So it's $7.50 a pound. This is 3 pounds. It wasn't $20. This was actually, so it wasn't, that's not 3 pounds. That's 2 pounds. Whose math am I doing? It's that new math. I've been teaching my grandson at home, and I'm confused with this new math. See, I just did it totally wrong. Anyway, I will give you more information on the Beyond Burgers when I do the freeze drying of them, as well as the rehydrating of them. So that's it. That's my day. Let me know what you're doing today. Be blessed, everyone.